We are in a new phase of COVID-19 in Alberta. While we continue to test widely and identify some new cases daily, the spread of the virus remains relatively stable. In fact, it is likely that Albertans will soon no longer need such regular updates from me. This is because the onus is increasingly on all Albertans to protect each other. That is why I want to encourage all of us, myself included, to continue to take responsibility for our actions and support others while they do the same. We all need to understand the guidelines and the importance of following them. I know there's a lot to learn, and it's natural that people may not know all the details of every guideline available. It is a lot of information. That's why I encourage all of us to show leadership and help each other. If your friends are hosting a backyard party, help make sure households practice distancing and know to bring their own refreshments. Or if you run a business, remind your customers of the measures you are taking to protect them and how they can protect your staff. Promote the fact that everyone should get tested, even with no symptoms. It's very easy to book an appointment online. And to be able to notify contacts quickly if anyone does test positive, please download the AB Trace Together app. These are all important ways of staying safe today, tomorrow, and in the weeks to come. What we've seen in Edmonton is that there have been several gatherings that we saw that there has been spread outwards from a group of people that gathered, and then there's been secondary and tertiary transmission. So that secondary and tertiary meaning that people who were in that gathering who were ill then unfortunately passed to others, who then passed to others in some cases. So we are working very closely to contain that spread with a variety of groups. I want to again emphasize that it is so critical that if someone is symptomatic, if they are feeling ill, that they stay home, that they stay away from others and get tested. Because while we want to make sure that we are limiting spread, we also want to make sure that we know where COVID has spread to. And so it's important that we not shame those who have tested positive. I think that many people in Edmonton, but also in other places around the province, are seeing the low numbers that we had up till a couple of weeks ago, combined with our stage 1 and 2 reopenings, possibly as reassurance that the public health measures are no longer required. And so I think in Edmonton, we just happen to have seen over the last few weeks, again, a couple of examples where perhaps one person who was infectious spread to others, and that's continued on. We are, again, making sure that we're putting measures in place to stop that spread, but I think it could certainly happen in other places around the province as well if people are not following public health guidance. And if you have even one person who's infectious who attends a large gathering, it can immediately spread to many other people. So while we are seeing again this increase over the last few weeks in Edmonton, it's not to say that other places are immune, and it's just a reminder that all of us need to continue to practice all of those public health measures that are going to get us through this next several months to be able to continue having open businesses and more interactions, but to do so in a safe way. We do continue to recommend that Albertans' travel plans stay within the province, and whether or not that changes over the summer is difficult to say. I know that Albertans want to make plans. I talked about just now the challenge of living with uncertainty, where we all want to make the most of the short summer that we have, and so I recognize that people are wanting to be able to determine, can they fly somewhere, can they drive somewhere. Again, it would be important for Albertans to look at the province if they are considering going somewhere for an essential trip. There are some provinces that do require a 14-day quarantine if an individual is going into that province from another province, and there are also provinces that are not allowing non-residents to enter. So it would be important for Albertans to check out those details before they plan a trip. And again, because right now our recommendation is, broadly speaking, that Albertans plan their travel within the province, I'm not currently making any distinction between traveling by airplane or by car. Again, essential travel is certainly something that can happen, and there are no current requirements, except for, again, as some provinces and territories do have some of those border measures in place. We have seen an increase, as you say, in active cases with more people out and about and being engaging in different activities. I think what we need to see is, again, Albertans reminding each other that we need to collectively take responsibility for protecting our communities. And so the same basic messages that I've talked about for months now in terms of staying 2 meters or more away from each other, wearing masks when that's not possible, ideally wearing masks when out in public where you don't know if you may or may not end up being within 2 meters of someone, making sure essentially that if anyone is feeling sick that they stay home, and of course regular hand washing, not touching our faces, those really basic things. If all of us do that, then we are going to be able to keep the active cases low. And again, that's for individuals as well as organizations to support those measures within their businesses, within their places of activity, whatever services that are provided. We all need to pitch in and do this together.